We would like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Sonic Electronics, so check them out for great deals on speakers, head units, amps, subs, wiring, etc. Use discount code PROVOBEAST for an instant 5% off your next purchase during checkout. PROVOBEAST here doing another install today. Today we're replacing the factory radio here with the new aftermarket Pioneer radio. What we're going to be doing in this video is replacing this whole dash bezel here. We're going to show you how to remove everything, wire up the new radio, get our new kit all installed, and do a little testing for you. Now, first things first, to get this radio out, as this whole dash bezel is actually just held on with clips. So using a panel tool, what we're going to do is kind of get up underneath here. Now you want to disconnect this harness. You just push down on the tab and it'll pop on out. Now for your airbag, depending on the manufacturer, for this little airbag light here, you're going to probably want to keep that harness plugged in because we don't want to trip the airbag light and give us a false code. So what we're going to do is just remove the whole housing. And there are these little three fill-up screws, which I'm removing, and I'll show you. Like that. There's three, 1, 2, 3 fill-up screws holding that in. Just kind of tuck that there. All right, so at this point, we got the whole dash bezel out of the way. It's going to expose 4 screws. Go ahead and remove all those screws, and then the radio will come free. On the back here of the radio, you're going to have our 2 harnesses, plus these 2 other connections. Just go ahead and unplug these. Now at this point, we're good to head over to the test bench to get our new radio all put together, get our wiring all set up to plug into these components. Alright, so we went ahead and got our components all together. Now the dash kit that we're using is this big Metra kit. Now this kit specifically is the 95-7353CH specifically for these Kia Rios. It's a big kit. We're using our AVH-X2800BS Pioneer doubled-in touchscreen DVD radio with Bluetooth. For our wiring, we're using this Crux kit. Now there's also other options out there, but this Crux kit is nice because it also, besides providing your main wiring harness adapters, it also will retain your steering wheel control functions and your aux port. So kind of a cool little kit here. Pretty well priced, budget friendly. Since we're using a Pioneer, we're going to use the bypass module. This allows us to bypass the video restriction while in motion. Now, there are kits out there for wiring that allow you to retain the USB. This is not one of them. So instead, we picked up a USB extension kit, and we're going to replace one of her cigarette lighters in this car with the USB relocation kit. We'll show you how that works. It's pretty cool. And then finally here, in a separate video, once we get that all up here, we're going to actually be installing a backup camera as well. Again, this kind of has its own lengthy video to it, so we'll put a link down in the description when that video is all ready to go so you can check out how to do so. Alright, so this end will plug into our factory connections. We'll use these ends to wire into our radio, matching colors. This thing allows us to select the type of car and the type of radio with these little switches on the side. And this is our aux retention cable, so the factory aux will still work, and we have a little adapter for this. We'll show you exactly what that looks like. That's about it. So at this point, what we're going to do is start marrying up colors. Now we're going to strip both ends of wire here. Alright, so we went ahead and stripped both ends, and as you can see we can start matching colors up here. And what we have are some butt connectors. Some people like using crimped caps, some people like the heat shrink and solder. Totally up to you. We like using butt connectors. So we're going to use these with a really good crimper, and this is going to allow us to make these solid connections. Now, crimp it again. Nice and solid. We're going to do that with all our connections here. Alright, so we went ahead and made all our connections. As you can see here, everything's nice and crimped. Everything was just matching colors. The only one that we didn't is this red white wire, which is a vehicle speed sense wire. Our Pioneer radio doesn't accept that, so we're just going to tape that guy off. And on the Pioneer side, we have our mute and a reverse gear signal input. We're going to be using this, but in a different video. We'll have to extend this wire. We have some long green wire which we'll extend, but essentially this needs to go to a reverse gear wire that's hot when obviously reversing. And then a mute, this harness did not accept it, so we'll just tape that one off as well. Alright, next here we're going to go ahead and get our dash kit all put together. So we got to transfer over the old components to our new kit. Now the last thing here, before you totally discard the other dash piece, is you need to transfer over these clips. You can just pop them off the old panel, and they just pop on a new one. Just like that. At this point, we got everything all prepped and ready to go for the car. Alright, so before we actually start throwing everything back in here, getting prepared for our new radio install, I popped out our aux USB little hub down below. There's just two screws there on the bottom, little Phillips ones that I used the little hand tool to loosen those screws, and it pops on out. The reason I popped that on out is you can actually buy a cable that plugs in there and retains the aux and USB. But since we're already retaining the aux through this Crux kit, the USB, what I did instead of retaining this one is we popped out one of our cigarette lighters here, just pushed in the tabs and popped it on out, and then in its place we're putting this aux USB little retention kit, and I'm just pushing it down into that little spot. Now, like I said, I'll throw in the description the actual part number that plugs in there to retain that. In the event you don't like this setup per se, to having the two USB ports, because this one will become obsolete. Totally up to you. Customer really wanted this option instead, so we went ahead and made it happen. So what we're going to do is now the other end of this cable is a USB cable. We're just going to fish it up so it plugs into the back of our Pioneer unit. Alright, so we went ahead and made our connections with our wiring harness. This wire here, go ahead and check it out, but this will be our backup camera video wire. I'll have that link in the description for you when it's ready. We have our USB input from down below. We have our aux input. Now it comes out as an RCA style input, and what we did is picked up this adapter, and this will plug in the aux port in the back of the radio. And this is our steering wheel control module. So all our connections are good to go. At this point, we need to get the radio in with all our connections. We're going to program our steering wheel controls, get our airbag all plugged back in there. All right, we need to program this. So we have a Pioneer and it says Pioneer. Switch number 1 needs to be off. Switch number 2 and 3 need to be on. 1, 2. Alright. Just like that. We're matching the diagram here. Alright, here's our first initial test. As you can see here, steering wheel controls work. Mute works great. Mode goes through all the different options here. Alright, everything's in, everything's playing good. Go ahead and put our newly assembled dash piece. Now remember, we need to reassemble this piece back inside. Alright, all good to go. Got our dash all put back together, got the radio in mounted. I had to kind of readjust the brackets on the side of the radio to get it to fit just right around the actual dash cavity. So you may have to pull it in and out a couple of times to get that right. But everything popped in. I got our airbag light back in. Everything's good to go, nice and clean. Let's do a little test for you here. Put our key in. Perfect. Mode. Go through the sources. If you have any questions about this install, just go and post a comment below. Thanks guys for watching. And if just a side note, if you have troubles trying to retain these, we certainly did, even with the crux adapter. So we went ahead and used this flush mount adapter. I'll post a link in the description, or even just the part number, so you can search that on Amazon. But we replaced one of the cigarette lighters with that, and the USB and aux goes directly to the radio. We spent some trying to retain that, even with the adapter harnesses that you can get from Metra, and really no luck. So like I said, if you have any questions about this install, just go and post a comment below. Thanks guys for watching the channel, and we will see you in the next video.